down into bits and pieces to learn how to actually defend yourself is what most people don't see, because the people who are doing kata for the purpose of bunkai aren't usually talking about it very much. Like, the most kata that you're going to see is through competition. It's going to be through the people who are trying to show you their kata. They're like, hey, look at my kata.
Perfect.
Okay, so there's three main reasons that people practice kata, and I know a lot of you don't like kata, which I understand. I get it. You don't have to practice kata. You don't have to shadow box. You don't have to do other things. You don't have to do solo drills. But if you do it, moving your body will ultimately help you in some way. And a lot of people have been practicing kata right now, especially because of the quarantine and the nature of being able to practice by yourself and being able to repeat the same motions over and over and over again. But anyway, I digress. The main reason that people practice kata is for, one, is recreational. We talk about this all the time, how people do things just for fun, just to move their body, just to get some sort of activity in. Some people just want to do something that's enjoyable or that brings them a consistency on a weekly basis, and kata is something that definitely brings consistency. For people who just do it recreationally, it's a matter of just enjoying themselves, finding something they can do on the weekends. Number two is for competition, being able to compete in something, being able to push yourself and push your limits by doing movement. It's no different than people wanting to compete in dance or people wanting to compete in other things. It is literally just a demonstration of what you're capable of. When it comes to kata, a lot of the stuff will be added in that doesn't necessarily look like it should be applied in martial arts, but guess what? I mean, they are, but they're also not really useful or help. But they earn points with the judges. They make people look at them, they have eyes on them, and they just enjoy it. So that competition is good for a lot of people, and it doesn't necessarily have to be fighting based. Now that leads me to the third point. Number three is actually practicing with bunkai. Now, what's interesting about the reason that people dislike kata is I think a lot of people see the competition or the recreation and they're like, oh, this doesn't work in a fight. And like I just said, it's not supposed to. That's not what they're training for. The people who train in bunkai, which is the kata being broken down into bits and pieces to learn how to actually defend yourself, is what most people don't see, because the people who are doing kata for the purpose of bunkai aren't usually talking about it very much. Like, they will, but the most kata that you're going to see is through competition. It's going to be through the people who are trying to show you their kata. They're like, hey, look at my kata, and you're just flooded with it, and you're like, that wouldn't work, that's stupid, you're just yelling really loud. But the people who are doing bunkai are doing it usually in a quieter sense because they're learning how to protect themselves. People who go self-defense first usually aren't the most showy and flashy people. Also, the people who do kata for the purpose of learning how to use self-defense usually aren't practicing the kata as much as they're practicing the bunkai itself. They're breaking those moves down into bits and pieces rather than just doing the kata over and over and over again. So everything that I just said there is totally fine. You can do what you want. But where I have a problem with it is when people start to put them in different categories based off of their own thoughts of things that might or might not work. So it would be a lot like me saying, oh, you put sweetener in that tea, that's not sugar. And I would go, no, yeah, I know. It's similar though, it's just what I prefer. So overall, I guess what I'm trying to say is whichever reason you practice kata for, you want to get into kata for, be proud of it, be happy with it, enjoy it. If you don't want to do kata, guess what? It's really easy, you just don't. If you don't like kata because you think it's being a detriment to other people, as long as they understand why they're doing it, it should be no problem. And guess what? It shouldn't be a problem to you in the first place. Now, if you like this and you want to see other of my stuff, YouTube has this cool new feature where if you scroll down to the suggested, you can click this little button here that says Sensei Seth, and you can see a lot of my other videos that YouTube suggests that you would like. If you like this, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you turn on the notifications, and if you don't subscribe, I'll have to do a kata on you.